I'll never forget the moment I almost gave up. It was back in 2023. I had just gotten married I don't know, it was probably like 6 months before that. I got married in fall of 2022 and I got really lean for my wedding. So at this point, I was pretty lean, probably even, actually leaner than I am now. And I remember I was like, I'm just not happy with my body completely. Even though I've reached my goal weight, I've reached my weight loss goal, I don't have the muscle tone I thought I would have. So my glutes were really flat and I had this like skinny fat type look. And I remember I was thinking, because this was back like during COVID. Well, I guess it was like post-COVID, but throughout COVID, I actually started working out at home and I was actually pretty consistent with it. And for a while it was great and it did work for me. But I got to the point where I was wondering if maybe I just needed to lift heavier. So I ended up joining a gym and I was really excited because I was like, surely I will start looking a little more muscular if I'm increasing the weight loads a little bit. You would think that would work, right? And I knew at a gym I was going to be able to lift heavier because at a gym you have access to things like barbells and machines to where you can lift heavier. And I remember 3 months in, like I was doing things like taking progress photos and my measurements. And I remember 3 months in, I did my progress photos and I was so irritated because I was driving to the gym like 4 or 5 days a week and I looked not anywhere near different. My body looked exactly the same. So even though my diet was the same, but I had added more resistance, I was not building any muscle, like zero. There was absolutely no difference between my before and after pictures after a 3-month period. And then I started digging a little bit more. I'm like, what is the deal here? Am I just like getting old and just my metabolism's just not responsive? Like I started thinking about all of these scenarios. Maybe it's perimenopause. Maybe it's my genetics. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks. I actually went back into my personal training manual that I probably hadn't opened in years. And I read a section about training adaptations. So basically what this was talking about was if you've been lifting weights for a long period of time, the strength gains and the muscle growth is going to slow down just because your body starts to get used to it. So that's something to know if you've been training for a long time consistently. Muscle growth and strength gains are going to slow down. The other thing I started stumbling across was the amount of calories I was eating. So in my mind, I was trying to recomp. So basically a body recomposition or body recomp, what this means is losing fat and building muscle at the same time. That was my goal. I wanted to stay lean, even get a little bit leaner and build a little bit of muscle. But the problem was I was only eating like 1,400 calories a day. Yes, 1,400 calories a day. And because my calorie intake was so low, I was not giving my body enough fuel to actually build the muscle. So that's when 3 months after I started lifting at the gym, 3 months after I made this goal of losing fat and building muscle, I realized my goal was actually causing me to spin my wheels. So I did a quick pivot. I continued to lift at the gym. I continued to increase the weights as I got stronger. But what I ended up doing was increasing my calories. And yeah, I did gain a little bit of weight. But fast forward to last October, okay? I had a very successful fat loss phase. So I did a calorie deficit, not a steep one. Like I think, the lowest my calories ever got was 1,600 calories. And I lost 12 pounds in 13 weeks. So about a pound a week. I was really successful with that. And the reason why I was successful was because I spent, it was a long time and it's actually not necessarily necessary to wait that long, but I gave myself 3 years to get my calories back up, to fuel my body properly, and to get consistent lifting in the gym. And doing these things set me up to where I had a very successful fat loss phase later. So that was 6 months ago. I am up a few pounds. I think I ended my fat loss phase weighing around 116 to 119. Right now, I'm usually around 119 to 121. So a little bit of weight gain, yeah, that might happen in maintenance. But what I'm happy about is that I like the level of leanness I have. I'm also able to build more muscle because now I'm not in a calorie deficit anymore. I pulled out of that 6 months ago. And basically what I did was exactly what I did 3 years ago. I started slowly increasing my calories. So I ended my cut at about 1,600 calories. Now my calories are usually falling around 2,000, 2,100. So I've been able to maintain my weight loss for the most part, plus a couple of pounds. But what's great is that I've been able to maintain this leanness eating more food. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So stick around because here's a couple scenarios, okay? So this is really for everyone. This is especially for if you have been trying to lose weight for a long period of time, you've been doing some kind of calorie deficit. So that might include macro counting, but this could also include maybe you're not counting macros. Maybe you're doing something like intermittent fasting. Maybe you're doing like an eating style like keto. These are notorious for causing a calorie deficit. So you don't necessarily need to be tracking to fit into this category, but you're doing something to reduce calories, but you have stopped seeing results, even though you still have a ways to your fat loss goal, okay? So if that's you, stick around. This is also, especially for someone who is close to their goal weight, or maybe they are at their goal weight, but they're not happy with the results. Maybe they still have some stubborn belly fat, and maybe they don't have the muscle tone that they want. Okay, so those are the two people I'm really speaking to today, okay? And I hear this all the time in different fitness Facebook groups, the whole idea of body recomposition. Is it actually possible? It actually depends. So stick around because this is going to be a very individual thing, and it's going to depend on your goals, it's going to depend on your diet history, and it's also going to depend on how long you've been training, okay? All of these factors is going to determine whether or not you can build muscle and lose fat at the same time. Now, don't worry, because if you're someone who can't, it's okay. I still have a solution for you, okay? So if you guys have joined the challenge, check your inbox because your physique assessment guide is here. And inside this physique assessment guide is what you need to know about body recomposition and picking what goal that you should work on, okay? Because here's the thing, I see it all the time. Women are spinning their wheels because they're trying to chase body recomposition. But if you've been training for a long time and you have lost weight or you're close to your goal weight, you might not be able to do body recomp very well. Or you might be able to do it, but it is a very, very slow process. So I'm actually, I guess I'm body recomping. I'm really just eating up maintenance, sometimes in a slight surplus. So my weight is staying roughly the same, but yeah, over time, I do feel like I'm getting a little bit more muscle and losing a little bit of fat. So the thing is though, at this point, it's like really, really slow. Like I don't really look that much different month to month. Like you're just not going to see a lot of improvements, but that's essentially where I'm at right now. So like I said, it just really depends on a lot of factors. And if you guys have any questions or if you want me to look at your own unique situation, send me a DM, okay? I would love to hear from you and I would love to help you point you in the right direction. But what we're going to do, we are going to go over this physique assessment guide together because here's the thing. If you're eating low calorie and you're not losing weight, there's something wrong, okay? And there's something that you can do to pull yourself out of this frustrating situation. And also, if you are lean, but you don't like your weight loss results, you don't have the muscle tone that you like, and you kind of have that skinny fat look, I promise you there's a solution. So that's exactly who I'm talking to today. But I want you all to check out this physique assessment guide and we're going to go through all of this together because again, if you are just like chasing body recomposition, but it's not like appropriate for you, you're not going to see the results that you want, and you're going to continue to stay frustrated. So this whole guide is going to walk you through exactly what you need to do in order to reach your goals. Okay. So first of all, most women in perimenopause struggle because they're doing all the things, but they're doing this without a clear plan. So for example, they may lift weights here and there, but they're not being consistent. So they're not seeing any change in their muscle tone. So yes, if you're trying to build muscle, you do need to be consistent with weight training. And just like we talked about on day one, not just any weight training, okay? Little tiny pink weights is not gonna get you toned, all right? We're talking heavy weights, increasing your weight loads when appropriate, and there's ways to do this, and also doing things like tracking your lifts, so you're just not going into your workout blind, okay? So we have to have that progressive overload. We need a repeatable workout program that is designed for muscle growth. Fancy moves, changing up your workout all the time, super high reps with low weight, that is not going to change your body. We talked all about this in day one. So if you guys have missed day one of the challenge, we do have the replay posted in the group, okay? And don't forget to sign up for the challenge if you haven't, because I am sending out replays after all of these live streams. So that way you don't even have to be on Facebook to watch the replays. You can actually just watch it from your inbox. But that's really the first thing, because if you want to build muscle, you do need to make sure that you are following a program for muscle growth. Another thing that I see women doing is cutting calories, but they're not seeing fat loss results. And we're going to get to that here in just a second. And then finally, I see women all the time wondering if they should focus on losing fat, building muscle, or focus on both. Okay. But here is the truth. If you don't know where you're starting from, you will never know what actually moves the needle. So this is where this quick assessment is going to come in, okay? So one thing I want to be clear about is that for most people in situations, this includes people that have quite a bit of weight to lose, it is usually best to pick one goal, okay? One goal at a time and go all in, all right? All right, so let's go ahead and move on to this page. This is where the physique assessment starts. So basically you're going to ask yourself the following questions. We're first going to go over the muscle check. All right. So first of all, are you happy with your current weight, or are you 10 pounds or less away from your weight loss goal? Okay. Yes or no? Okay. Question 2, is your body fat 25% or less? Question 3, do you look like you're skinny fat? Like your weight you might be close to your weight goal, but your glutes are flat and you don't have any muscle tone. And then finally, question 4, when you look at your body goals, do you actually want to look more toned? So AKA look more muscular, like have more size to your muscle rather than looking smaller. Okay, so if you answered yes to one or more of these questions, you might want to focus on building muscle. Okay, so this is going to be generally someone who's kind of lean. This might be someone who doesn't have a butt, they don't have a lot of muscle tone. Okay, so that's what this is all about. All right, okay, let's move on to the fat loss section. All right, so we're going to go over a couple of questions to assess if maybe fat loss is the right phase for you. So fat loss check. Question number 1, do you want to lose 10 pounds or more? Yes or no? Question 2, are you satisfied with the amount of muscle that you have right now? Would you be happy with a smaller version of the body you have at this moment? Okay, so think, would I be happy with the body I have right now minus whatever weight without adding any more muscle tone? And then finally, last question in the fat loss check, has it been 6 months or more since the last time you restricted calories? Yes or no? If you answered yes to all questions, you might consider a fat loss phase, okay? So basically, if you have more than 10 pounds to lose, if you're satisfied with the amount of muscle that you have right now, and it's been at least 6 months since you've done a diet or a calorie deficit, then you might consider a fat loss phase. So let me know if you guys have any questions about these questions. Pop those into the chat, whether you're here live or watching the replay. Okay, and then finally, we have the lifestyle check section. Okay, so there is 4 questions in this category. So lifestyle check question number 1, are you lifting weights less than 3 days a week on average? Yes or no? 2, are you getting less than 6K steps a day on average? Yes or no? Question 3, are you sleeping less than 7 hours a night? Or is the quality of your sleep compromised? Yes or no? And then finally, are you struggling with your nutrition? Whether that might be emotional eating, cravings, getting enough protein, meal planning, or knowing what to eat. Yes or no? So if you answered yes to one or more of these questions, you might consider a lifestyle phase. Essentially what lifestyle means is really just a maintenance. So we're just focusing on certain behaviors that is going to help you in the long run with both fat loss and muscle building while you're just essentially maintaining your weight, okay? Now, before you guys come after me, because I know some of you guys are gonna be like, yeah, but Courtney, I have like 50 pounds to lose. But here's the thing you need to realize. If you have not mastered maintenance, if you cannot maintain your current weight without gaining more weight over time, you're not ready to lose fat, okay? So keep in mind that even if you have other goals, such as fat loss, this is your real starting point before fat loss or muscle gain, because working on developing these lifestyle skills is going to help you be successful with fat loss or muscle building, and it can also help you maintain weight loss, okay? So that's what I want to say about that. Yes, even if you have a fat loss goal, it is important that you have the right skills in place because otherwise you're just going to be dieting for months and months and months, okay? So let me know in the comments if this is making any sense. But to get your hands on the physique assessment guide, make sure you guys sign up for the challenge if you haven't. I'm going to be sending out the replay within the next hour. So if you want this in your inbox, make sure that you sign up for the challenge. I will put the link to join in the comments as soon as I'm done. But guys, it's all over our group. The last several posts that I've made and also in all the live streams, there is a link to join the challenge. It's completely free. If you think it sucks, if it's annoying, you guys can unsubscribe. So no big deal, but I want to make sure that you guys have all of the tools here. So I want to go back to talking a little bit about what to do if you have quite a bit of weight to lose, but you're in this position where you're at a point where you're eating low calorie, but you're not losing anymore. I want to address this because this is a very, very common question. So here's my opinion, okay? Actually, let's talk about facts. So if you're at this point where you are dieting and you've been doing this for months, but your weight loss has either stalled or like slowed down a lot, more than likely your body has adapted. Now, I will also say sometimes we just need to make sure we're being accurate with things like macro counting and things like that, because most of us are usually not very accurate with recalling what we ate, right? Sometimes we're not measuring what we're tracking, and that's really important too. You really need to make sure that you are weighing your portions out and tracking your macros if you have a fat loss goal. But that is one thing I will say first. Like first, I would make sure that your reporting is accurate, right? If you rule that out and you're like, no, I'm eating like 1,200 calories and I'm not losing any more weight, here's the issue. The reason why that's happening is because your body has adapted to that low calorie intake. So meaning to lose weight, to get the ball rolling again on fat loss, you're going to have to lower your calories even more, okay? So I know that's not, it's probably not what you want to hear, okay? So what do? Well, you have two options here in this situation. You can either lower your calories. Another thing that can help is making sure that you're moving enough. Sometimes you just need to increase your physical activity a little bit. And I'm not talking about like necessarily with working out or training. I'm talking more about like being more active throughout the day, walking, getting your steps in, okay? So that is one thing that you can do. You can try lowering your calories and or, adding a little bit more movement. But again, this is one of those things, your body is just going to keep adapting to that. So this is what I tell my ladies inside Lean Physique, which is my one-on-one coaching program, is that, okay, after a certain amount of time, we need to take a diet break and we need to do a reverse diet back into your new maintenance. Okay, so what I do for my clients is if they lost weight, I recalculate their calories. I found out what their maintenance is at their new weight, and we stay there for a couple months. So even if my client, let's say that she lost 20 pounds in her cut, we stop, let's say we stop the cut about 5 or 6 months in, okay? She's starting to kind of like, her results are slowing down a little bit. She's got some dieting fatigue. You know, it's just causing a lot of energy. She's ready for a break. So after 6 months, we pull out, I recalculate her calories with her new maintenance since she's lost weight, and we just chill there for a while. But she's still feeling good because she's still 20 pounds down. And she's working on the skill of weight maintenance, okay, which is only going to help you with fat loss down the line. So what does this do? Yeah, she might just be maintaining that weight loss, and yeah, okay, she still has a little bit to her goal, but here's what happens. She's going to be able to get her metabolism back up to where it's responsive. So when she does go back into a fat loss phase, it's going to be easy for her, right? Because her calories are going to be able to be at a higher point. So that's exactly what I was telling you with my story in the beginning of this live stream, that the reason why I had such an easy time with fat loss last fall was because I took the time, I built a little bit of muscle, so I actually looked good when that weight came off. But not only that, I took the time to get my calories up to a higher point, and that's exactly why I was able to start my fat loss phase at like 1,700 calories. Like, I'm only 5'3", like that's insane. Like, that was a deficit for me, right? But the only reason I did that, not because I have good genetics, no, I had to work at it a little bit. I had to track my food. I had to slowly increase my calories. I had to keep my movement up. Like, there is some things that I had to do. So it wasn't luck. It was very, very intentional. But by doing this, so going back to my client who lost the 20 pounds, and then we just stay at maintenance for some months, then we can go back into a fat loss phase. Her metabolism is restored. Her calories can be at a higher standpoint. She gets rid of that dieting fatigue. And while we're doing maintenance, we're focusing on skills that are only going to help the process, right? So a lot of you guys are scared of maintenance, but guys, like, I'm eating at maintenance. I'm not restricting calories. Like, I'm eating 2,000, 2,100 calories. Like, that's actually pretty high for someone who's 5'3", 45 years old, right? So some of you guys are scared of that, but here's the thing that you need to realize. The reason why I think people are scared of it is because it's like an on or off switch for a lot of people. They're either like on the diet or completely off the rails. Learning the skills of how to reverse diet and eat at maintenance, all this is going to do is help you be more dialed in, okay? So no, you don't have to like gain all your weight back. You don't have to like blow up, right? Like, you don't have to like say, fuck it. Like, there's things that you can do after a diet. And here's the thing that I say all the time is that the hard part is not fat loss. The hard part is actually maintaining that fat loss, and also building muscle to where it doesn't feel like a full-time job. Because like we were talking about in day one, it does get harder to build muscle. That's why it's really important that you are following the right plan for this stage of life. So let me know if you guys have any questions about that. Go through the physique challenge. So that is your challenge for today. I want you guys to go through the physique assessment that came out in today's email. Ask yourself these questions, and then I want to hear from you guys. So pop in the comments if you guys have done this already. Let me know what the result is. If you guys have any questions, pop that in as well. If you want me to help assess for you, I would love to talk with you. Send me a direct message and I'll be happy to ask you a couple of questions, and I can help point you in the right direction. What phase is going to be right for you? Because here's the reality is that a lot of women think that getting the body that they love is going to be like cut. So basically restrict calories all the time. No, that's actually probably the problem, because when you are cutting all the time, there's a few things that can happen. Your metabolism will decrease if you do this for a long period of time. Your metabolism will adapt to that low caloric intake. The other issue here, okay, when you restrict for a long time, your movement will decrease. And this is really subconscious. You're probably not even going to notice, but when you have less fuel coming in, your movement will decrease, okay? And that's whether you're aware of it or not. It's just one of those things. Whenever you're eating more food, you're actually going to have more energy. So that's how right now, it's no big deal for me to get 10 to 15K steps a day. I get that every single day. And the reason is because I feel good, because I actually have energy, because I'm fueling my body properly. I'm getting the right amount of calories that my body needs. So that's the issue is, you know, a lot of people think that the answer is to just diet and diet and diet, but you're going to run yourself into a corner at some point. So your metabolism is going to decrease. So meaning you're just going to have to drop your calories more to keep seeing weight loss happen. Your movement is going to decrease as well, and that's going to make everything harder. And then finally, muscle building. You're not going to be able to build muscle in a calorie deficit if you do this for a long period of time. Hey, go to my stories. So I actually posted about this today. I have a picture of my glutes, and it's so crazy how different I look. So one picture, like on the left side, my glutes are super flat, and I'm only eating like 1,400 calories a day. And then I have my glutes on the right side, where I'm showing where I'm eating 2,100 calories a day. So that's what we need to realize is that, okay, if you have body fat to lose and you haven't been lifting for a long time, yeah, you're probably going to be able to lose some fat in a calorie deficit. But if you've been training for a long period of time, consistently, so I would say over a year, and you're somewhat, like say you've already lost weight, okay, then you're probably not going to be able to build muscle in a deficit. All right. So that's why this is very, very individual, and cutting is not going to be the solution. Calorie deficits should only be used in small amounts. Okay. So whenever you see things on Instagram like, oh, it's a lifestyle. No, it's not. It's a fucking phase, guys. Like I said, it might not catch up with you yet, but if you continue to do this, you're going to put yourself in a corner to where your energy is low. You don't have any motivation to move or exercise. You're not building any muscle. And the most frustrating part is that you're restricting calories, but you're not seeing any fat loss. So you can fix this, guys, by downloading my guide, okay? You can still sign up. I'm gonna put the link to sign up for the Lean Physique Challenge in the comments, and you guys will get this. I'm gonna send it back out this afternoon, okay? I'm gonna send out the replay, and I'm gonna send the link to get this, okay? So I'm telling you guys, this will change everything for you, okay? It will change everything. And I just wanna end with this. Guys, summer's just around the corner, and I've been seeing so much bullshit about like 6-week shred. It's like, okay, I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. This is not like a 6-week thing. This isn't even a 12-week thing. This isn't even a 6-month thing. Guys, like, I hate to tell you it, but like, if you wanna look lean and toned, especially 40 plus, like, this is like a lifestyle thing. This isn't like a 6-week shred. Because here's the thing, like, especially if you don't have the right skills, you're probably not going to get the results that you want. The other thing here, guys, is that we need to know what to do after the diet. Because like I was saying just a few minutes ago, like, it's not like just the fat loss that's hard. What's really hard is actually keeping it off. So we need to think of this as a lifestyle instead of like a 6-week shred. Because, guys, like, I did not get this body from a 6-week shred. This has been like years of lifting weights. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to be a one and done thing. So even if you, okay, for example, even if you lose 100 pounds, more than likely that's not going to be like one and done and just you're done, right? Like, no, then you're probably going to want to build some more muscle. So my point is that most people are going to need to do several cycles of maintenance and cutting, okay? So maintaining weight, cutting, maintaining weight, cutting, going back and forth between these two, okay? So I hope this makes sense. I'm not trying to scare you like, oh my gosh, I have to do this shit for the rest of my life. But honestly, if you want to be lean and toned, if you want to have a good metabolism, if you want it to be this fucking problem that goes away of eating 1,300 calories, but you don't see any weight loss. Like, guys, this isn't just about reaching goals. This is about ending the frustrating problems, okay? Of always looking for the next best thing, always chasing fat loss, always fixated about my calories and food and what's going to happen if I continue to gain weight, right? So this isn't just about like goals, you know, this is about like, guys, I want this to be the last fucking thing that you do. Because I'm talking to a lot of my friends and they're like, yeah, I tried this and then I tried that. And gosh, Courtney, I'm up 10 pounds. Like, I just feel like I just keep gaining weight even though I'm trying everything under the sun. Guys, I want this to be the last thing that you have to do. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm going to get off here because we've been here for 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and send you guys out the email with the replay so you guys can watch that. And tomorrow I'm going to be back. Join me live tomorrow because we're going to be talking about macros. I'm going to be doing like a little demo on how to weigh out your food. It doesn't have to be tedious. It doesn't have to be restrictive, okay? And make sure that you sign up for the challenge because I have a couple resources for you tomorrow. There is a 5-minute guide, a tutorial that walks you through how to track on MyFitnessPal. And then there's also a portion control guide that I think you guys are going to find really, really helpful that walks you through how to weigh food. It also has like a little handy guide so you guys can build a plate and have some portion control without having to weigh or measure anything. So sign up for the challenge. That's going to go out tomorrow and I will see you back here at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, bye for now.